Public Library again, and I have another book for you, another one of my favorite books. I hope you'll like it. It's actually called The Little Fir Tree, and it's written by Margaret Weiss Brown, and it's illustrated by Jim Lamarche. I like this book. Margaret Weiss Brown, you might know some of her other books. Goodnight Moon, it's a good one. But this one, well, I like the story because it's a bit magical in a way. Maybe you could see if it's magical for you too. This book is published by Harper Collins Publishers, and we're going to thank them for allowing us to read it in quarantine. Let's start reading it. A little fir tree stood by the edge of a forest, a little way off from the great green trees. It had been a windy day, the day the little fir tree was a seed, and it had blown through the air out of the forest and into the field, and there he had dropped to the ground. As spring and summer and autumn and winter passed by, and another spring turned green, the little seed had sprouted, taken root, and grown. 7 times the spring had come, flashing with birds and flowers. Maybe you can see those. Maybe there's also another animal you can see besides the birds. Did you spot it? Maybe a bunny rabbit? Maybe. 7 times the summer had droned its hot bee-buzzing days around him. 7 autumns had whirled their falling leaves and milkweed parachutes past his head. And now the snow fell, and the grasses of the field crackled with the diamond light of ice. His 7th winter had come. Always the little fir tree looked out at the big fir trees in the great dark forest. He felt a little lonesome in his littleness, away from the other trees. He wished he was part of the forest or part of something, instead of growing all alone out there, a little fir tree in a big, empty field. One day, a man came out of the forest. He carried a shovel and wore long black boots. He walked right up to the little fir tree, and he gave him a shake. Not too little and not too big, not too stiff nor yet too limber. A beautiful little fir tree, just the tree for my boy to grow strong with. So tenderly, the man dug into the not quite frozen ground. He dug a big wide hole around the little fir tree, and tenderly he took all the far-flung roots and tied them into a gunny sack. And then he lifted the little fir tree high in the air, and proudly he bore him through the forest. You are going to a great celebration, said the man, and you will be part of it. Then in the early spring I will bring you back and plant you again where I found you. And each year you will return to the great celebration, and each year you will go back to your own green field in the spring. And you will grow with my little boy who cannot come to you. You shall be his living tree. For the little boy had a lame leg. He'd never been in the forest. He'd never left his bed. But he listened to the trees at night, and he watched the trees beyond his windows, the great green trees he saw in the distance, and he wished for a tree that would come to him. Now one was coming, borne on his father's shoulders through the forest. The little fir tree was coming, with a swish of branches and a prickly green smell. It was planted in a great wooden tub at the foot of the boy's head. You have come to me from the wild green forest, said the little boy, and you are a part of my very own world. You've come to the great celebration of Christmas. The next night candles were lit in the windows, and outside the snow fell softly and covered the trees with white. But inside the house, the little fir tree was green and pungent and warm. And then they put golden tinsels on its branches, and golden bells, and green icicles, and silver stars, and red and green and blue and purple chains of shining Christmas balls. And soon, oh, shining wonder, the little fir tree was a Christmas tree. Children came that night to sing Christmas carols. They sang new words to an old carol that the boy had made up in the joy of the day. Oh, Christmas tree, your greenest branches live for me. Oh, I'm sure you can sing that better than me. And after winter, spring came in, flashing with birds and flowers, and the little tree was returned to the woods. And summer droned its bee-buzzing days around him, and autumn came and whirled milkweed parachutes past his head. But when snow fell still and white over the fields, heavy and silent on the forest, the time had come for the little fir tree to be carried once more to the bright lights of the celebration. And it happened. The man in the long boots came and carried him back to the little boy. Both the boy and the tree were a little bigger, and the lights seemed even brighter. And again the children came. Again they sang Christmas carols, and they sang they had sung before. Again they sang the new words to the old tune, and they sang them to the living tree. And all winter long, the little fir tree grew in the little boy's window, and then one gentle day, the wind blew warm, and the pussy willows bloomed, and the boy's father shouldered the tree and returned with him to the field at the edge of the woods. The little tree was growing fast now. Little flowers had sprung up around him, making a young and feathered forest at his feet. And spring warmed into summer, and summer droned into the crisper sounds of autumn. And snow fell early. It fell soft and deep. The little fir tree dreamed away and waited for the time the man in the black boots would come and get him. But the man did not come. More snow fell, and then it stopped snowing, and the air was vast and still and very quiet. But the man did not come. The sun shone down and the stars shone down, and no one came. There he was, a little fir tree in a big empty field. The big trees in the great dark forest were far away, and the stars were far away. And without Christmas, the world seemed big and cold and empty. And then, in the white and snowy darkness, he heard singing. Far off, he heard the Christmas carols across the frozen fields. The music grew louder, and joy of joy as it came nearer. And there, leading the dark band of carolers across the snow with a lantern in his hand, came the little boy. He was walking out to his tree near the forest. They came and they decked the tree with shining splendor of tinsel and hung red berries and apples and cookies on his branches for the birds to eat. And they sang the song they had sung before. Maybe you can help me. Oh, Christmas tree, your greenest branches live for me. That is the end of the book. I hope you like that one, like I like that one, and I hope you can sing the song better than me, but that's okay. Sometimes it's just fine just to sing loud, even if you can't sing very well. It's good to do that. I hope you get a chance to do that, and I hope you get a chance to go out in the woods and spend a little time in the silence and find a little tree out there that maybe you could put a decoration on. That's why I like it. It is magical. And I hope no matter what you celebrate, maybe if you don't celebrate anything, that you enjoy this time of year, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.